And so here we are, beloved friends. The spirals are now everywhere in cosmos, in the atmosphere of the Earth. I know many of you actually emailed me today saying that a spiral comet, and it's in the chat as well, is moving towards our sun. I mean, amazing. This is all just one big science fiction here, isn't it? It's just science fiction. It's all like fantastic things happening all the time. The miraculous reality that we are in, it's all synchronistic, and we are always aligned with cosmic Mother Nature because she is the one who's been guiding us and really guiding this work since 2017, first in very personal ways. And then in 2020, she said, I need you to gather people. And so we are her people, and we are gathering with her and for her, assisting her, showing that the puzzle pieces that we receive are making a difference because we work with them. Incredible things, just incredible. The whole thing, I always say, it's science fiction. The most boring part is always the ordinary life, where you wake up in the morning and some people go to school, some people go to work, and just coming home, cooking some dinner, going to bed. So that part that we call life definitely is not really the life. We are here for the life. Amazing spirals. When you build your spirals, that's a gorgeous spiral. Please put them in the chat. It's so wonderful for all of us to be connecting with these central systems, which is the spiraling out of consciousness. Of course, everything in this cosmic body, to me, it's just like looking at the body of a human being where so many things are happening at once, and ideally it all should work in synchronicity with each other, in harmony. And so this big cosmic body, here it comes a spiral, here it arrives close to the sun. What is the sun gonna do? The sun is gonna emanate some plasma. What is the plasma gonna do? The plasma is gonna move to the earth. What is the earth gonna do? She will wake up, and so on and so on. So this is how it works. It's just constant happening. It's constant expansion. So, when I always say that we're going to do some kind of Ascension update, it's always good to look back, even though time and space, maybe we are not really looking back. Maybe just we are looking from like zooming out a little bit. So let's zoom out on the Zoom call. We're going to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. I always try to share everything that was given to me as knowledge. Again, those are puzzle pieces, and together we create the big picture. The recordings will be posted from earlier today, and this call might be slightly different because I feel a lot of the information, there's so much to be said, and we cannot always fit everything into one call. So for me, this ascension started to reveal itself, not from somebody else's knowledge, but from the knowledge that these beings started to bring, and not just any beings. I mean the big beings. And so it was Divine Mother who really started to teach this work here in 2017. And first, it was very personal for me because she was teaching me about the earth. She was teaching me about all the elements. And so that's part of this big work. She was preparing us for this, what is unfolding here, the planetary ascension. To understand the planetary ascension from the very, very big picture is that actually there is a spiral in cosmos. Here is a wonderful picture of a spiral from the beehive. Remembering that Divine Mother is like the queen bee, and we are her little bees, and each one of us is bringing to her a unique perspective about what life is, what life can be. I love that we are at 222 here right now, and on the call before it was 333. It's just how it works. And so when you think of, for example, here, the spiral, this spiral is also in cosmos. And this spiral is what we call the spiral of ever expanding creation. From the center point, which is source, we have an emanation of consciousness that spirals out to create more and more and more of itself. In our solar system, the sun is our central sun, and it seems like maybe there are circles around it to create the orbit of the planets, but actually everything is spiraling out. Another way to describe the spiraling out is that every central sun is at the center of a spiral. The galaxies are formed around a central point and then spiral out, even though not all galaxies might look like spirals, but there's always spiraling out. You see it here in nature too. You see it in the flowers, you see it in some vegetables too. And you see that the spiraling happens here also in creatures, right? There are, for example, in the shells, you see the spiraling out. And so spiral is energy that exists within cosmos and which exists in all worlds. And that is the spiraling out of consciousness from a central point, which is source, or for us, central sun, and then having so many different central suns. So the spirals has always been a very important shape that represents this creation consciousness. Creation was never designed in those, like we always hear in biblical stories, 7 days to create the earth and then we are done. It's not like that at all. It is constant evolution. It is an expansion. Expansion. I was just sharing with the group who came to Encinitas with us, where we built some spirals on the beach, which was very beautiful. That, Yogananda, when he was here in this world, he would talk to Divine Father and he would say, Divine Father, we really need you in this world. Like, why did you send me into this world? This world with so much illusion and misunderstanding. And Divine Father would just smile and say, Yogananda, I am too busy building new universes. I am expanding creation. That's why I sent you to this planet Earth. You can deal with those troubles, and I will stay in my bliss and I'll keep on expanding creation. So it's a funny story, but actually, it is about, expansion of cosmos as really creation. So, cosmic creation. So please keep building your spirals. They are now being seen everywhere in the atmosphere of the Earth. For example, this happened on the 3rd of March, close to the North Pole. A spiral was seen in the atmosphere of the Earth. And then also this spiral was seen in the atmosphere of the Earth. They happened to be close to the North Pole, above Iceland, Norway, Finland. And then today, and I'm so grateful that you sent me this, the comet spiral, which will reach our sun in April. The timing of all these things. If you have been listening to Patricia Cota Robles in the past, that you know the spirals, the comets are never just some kind of random thing. They always bring incredible amount of energy and light consciousness and also information, as light is information. So now in March, we are being prepared for what is to come in April. And again, the months do not matter, but it's about cosmic events and how they unfold. We have a lot of cosmic unfolding here happening. We will have the spring equinox here in Northern Hemisphere, then fall equinox, of course, in Southern Hemisphere. And that will be here for us on the 19th of March. Every time we have the equinox or solstice, those are the most powerful points of planetary harmonization. Usually the strongest harmony is resounding through the earth herself the day before, the day of, and the day after. So when I organize some events where we are able to stand upon the earth, they are always aligned with these beautiful harmonic portals. That's where the best work can be done. That's where ascension portals open around the earth. I've seen them and they do open, and our ancient people have known that too. Another powerful, of course, gate that opens is the Lion's Gate on 8/8. And so March equinox is next. And then the big event in terms of our solar system is, of course, and for our planet, is the solar eclipse on the 9th of April. The solar eclipse will have incredible implications for all life on this planet, as they always do. I personally met Divine Mother for the first time face to face the night of the solar eclipse in 2017. So you can imagine what type of openings happen in really the energy field of the earth that allow us to have these divine experiences. So again, we are preparing for all of this so that we are an open system, the open holy grail that no one can shut, so that we are filled with this beautiful divine essence. And so back to the ascension process. I often talk about the rainbow serpent of creation. And for those of you who are in Australia, that obviously you are familiar with the creation stories of the Aboriginal people. These are not myths. So with our third eye, when we start seeing into these higher and higher and higher realms, we will encounter these beautiful magnetic flows of energy with rainbow light. And we can refer to them as rainbow serpents of creation. And so our ascension process is actually about the rising of a rainbow serpent of creation through this world, but not only through this world, also through our physical bodies, but also not only through this world and our physical bodies, but actually through all worlds that belong into this big solar system, and not just the solar system of our physical sun, but all the suns within the creation of the system. On 11/11 last year, our team participated with Patricia Cota Robles in the alignment of the planetary axis. This was major. This actually caused a major shift in the flow of magnetism, magnetic North Pole and magnetic South Pole, that have been out of alignment since the fall. This is so huge that we now have access once again through the planetary axis, the planetary spine that is aligned with the true north, magnetic north, and true magnetic south, so that information can flow back again through the spine. The spine is actually so important. Yogananda, when he spoke about the spine in a human body, he said that the spine in a human body is actually the highway to heaven, highway to God. Now we have to remember what that all means. That means that actually the information from these higher realms flows down through the spine, not only the spine of the human being, but of course the spine of the earth as well. So in mysticism, we always meditate with our spine straight for that reason. So in mysticism, we were trying to fix the tilt within our own meditation practice by meditating in a certain way, by unlocking the human body so that we can receive these higher solar codes. So it was not easy, but now it is actually happening through all of us since 11/11. So this rainbow serpent of creation in this ascension process uplifts all worlds within the big solar system with all the central suns and all the planets and all the worlds. She actually rises through cosmos, through this universe, and she rises up as a serpent who then becomes the cosmic DNA, and she gets her wings. She's upgraded. She's in her higher expression, the expression of a cosmic dragon. That is actually ascension process at its best. Now, that's the big picture. So the big picture is that. So what is the smaller picture and how does it affect us here on this planet? Each planet has exactly what the human body has, and that would be energy channels. For example, Chinese medicine, I wouldn't even call it Chinese medicine. I would say the knowledge of the original blueprint of the human body, knowing how energy flows through the human body from the subtle fields of creation. So if a person is psychic or they can see clairvoyantly, they will see how our energy field has channels that go beyond the physical body, and they actually come into the body from these fields of what we would call planetary field, our solar field, our galactic field, our universe and cosmos. That is actually self-realization when we are able to activate all these channels within the physical body and our subtle bodies to receive the fullness of who we are. This is really huge because that is where we are all moving into and is happening to us right now. The channels within our body and in our subtle bodies are being awakened, reactivated. And of course, we can be part of the process and we can help, which I always say it's preferable. It's good to be aware of what's happening so that we can also participate in it consciously and assist it. So, ascension process for the physical body is that these channels are being rewired so that they can once again communicate with cosmos and then what we would call the smaller bodies within cosmos, which is multiverses for us, our universe, galaxies, our galaxy, our solar system, our planet, our other stars that have an effect on our consciousness. The same is with the planet. She too has these channels. We call it the planetary grid. The planetary grid was actually broken. It broke when the axis of the world tilted. As you can imagine, when you take a spider web and the spider web would be nicely holding the earth within itself. And then you take the whole system and you pull it sideways, then the spider web will break in some places and it will actually become very much dysfunctional. So that's exactly what happened here on planet Earth. If you did that to the human being, then the being would get sick. That means suddenly the energy would not flow, life force would not flow, the organs will not get nourished the way that they used to, because our organs actually are nourished not only through food, that's actually the fallen design, but through these different parts of cosmos and different systems that affect us. The original design for the human body was actually that our system is so much more light, and that would be that even our organs are light processing organs. So it didn't have to be the heavy density of what today, especially things like meat, of course, that's heavy density for the body to digest. But the lighter we go, the better it gets, because then we come closer and closer and closer to the original design. So if you now disrupt the whole system of light flowing into the human being, then of course it falls to that kind of survival level, like I need to eat to feel good, I need this and that, I need to suddenly do a lot of things that normally were just given. And so as we go through the ascension process, not only is the physical body being attuned to these higher sources of light and really life, but also the planetary body has to change and attune to these higher sources. The planet once again will be able to participate in the web of life, the interconnectedness of life that exists within this big system of the world that we are part of. You can think of it this way, maybe, these are strings. And so again, when the strings are broken, we cannot play the music really well. These strings not only surround us, but they also surround the earth. And so planetary ascension is about also restoring the ancient planetary grid, which now will be the new upgraded grid for this new age that we are stepping into. These grids are really important. For me, my experiences are very often out of body experiences. That's where I gain the most knowledge. But sometimes, there are many different ways. For example, you can have a visitation from a being and knowledge is delivered to you, or your divine self can simply download information into your being when these channels are reestablished. So there is a lot of remembering. And I know that these planetary grids, for example, I visited them in Cosmos, actually kind of like a communication system, and that we always want to keep this planetary grid attuned to then the larger grids. So it's always communication system between planets, worlds, suns, and even stars. And so I actually remember being on a star that we call Sirius, and it was not Sirius A, it was Sirius B. And we were working on grids that are actually universal. We were working on restructuring and rebuilding universal grids. So it's all very fascinating stuff that can actually happen these days. And again, there's a lot. It's a lot of sometimes, mind-boggling stuff that's taking place right now. So in this ascension process, the earth will be able to be part of the world that she actually was destined to be and originally was through these communication channels. And so then, of course, we have completely different consciousness, expanded consciousness. The planetary grid is like an amazing system of this world that we are in right now. So when a being arrives in the world, they are affected by the planetary grid. We might not always realize it, but it is the planetary grid that gives us actually a sense of a collective consciousness and collective experience. So when we are in a broken planetary grid, we also have a broken reality. When we are in a coherent, absolutely intact planetary grid, we also experience reality completely differently. Huge changes are happening to our nervous system and also to our senses. This is going to be really big as we move through these solar energies, of course. The solar energy is so much more than just, sunshine. First of all, it's nice to go back to honoring the sun. As we move through this ascension process, the one who gives us information every day is our solar logos. And so we are beings that are actually constantly receiving information, and we can really attune to it by meditating in nature, preferably, so that we can be really exposed to this amazing intelligence and receive the information that the solar logos is sending to us every single day so freely, so wonderfully, and so equally to all of us at once. And then the other system that is giving us information is, of course, our beautiful planet Earth. And she's also informing us every day about her own changes. And again, during the equinox and solstice, we have the most information flowing from the earth into our bodies. And so we can really get to know where she's going with that lady, the lady planet Earth. Okay. So now it's about attuning ourselves, not only with the earth, with the body in a whole new way, but with the solar logos as well, and restore our toroidal field. The toroidal field is very puzzling. I experienced the restoration of my toroidal field in 2020, kind of, I would say, by accident, really. I think that's how it happened. I always speak about it the same way because I have no explanation for it, but it was COVID and it was a lockdown, and I thought it'd be so nice to do some kind of massage body work. And so I booked a little session, which was like 2.5 hours of some body work, and this lady was like laying rocks on my chakras. It was really nice. I was having fun. And then when I left, suddenly I could perceive 12 dimensions very clearly within my own being that created the tree of life. And I could at once, all at once, perceive my own 12-dimensional being. And it just would not go away. And so I came home and I told my husband, I just cannot talk to him right now. I have to sit outside and I just have to write it all down. So I was writing everything that was happening. It was like I was in the third dimension. I was also in the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh dimension, eighth dimension, ninth dimension, and so on, of course. And I was able to see through all of them all at once. And so that was a big change that, of course, took place. And I realized it's creating a toroidal field because there is a flow through the tower of your being. And to me, it felt like there is a tower inside of me. And the tower had openings. And each opening to me is like the chakra that was allowing me to see the ultimate reality, really, through the opening of the chakra. To me, it was almost like windows, as if I could go into the third dimension and look through the window out to see if I can understand creation. But then I realized it's so limited. So I would go higher within my own being. I would go into the fourth dimension and I would look out and I would say, oh, okay, I see more, but I don't see the whole thing. And so it just was happening like that until all the way to the 11th dimension, where you could see everything, but you couldn't be one with it completely. It was limited. So you could see it, but you couldn't touch it. And so this is how basically the toroidal field was created. Sorry, I'm still in the dog sound. And so the toroidal field for all of us as we go through this ascension process is very important. Every single day, thinking of yourself as the tree of life. This is the tree of life. This is also the apple of life, the fruit of life. Within you are the seeds of life. Everything in this nature represents divine nature. Nature is absolutely divine. She is the one who gives expression to that which we would call physical nature. So when she creates an apple, it's not just an apple, it's a divine object that we really have to study deeply to understand how that came into being. It's amazing. So when you study an apple, you are looking at your own toroidal field. When you cut an apple open, you will find a five-pointed star representing the five elements of creation: the ether, the fire, the air, the water, the earth. The earth actually not being earth because we would then think of this planet, but actually the mineral queendom. So the minerals. So much to be said about this ascension process, but simplify it and to give some practical advice. Every day is a solar day. Every day is a new solar day. The solar day is very important. Our ancient people who were so advanced in these ancient civilizations, they were futuristic. They knew to observe the sun and they knew to observe these cosmic cycles and also the bigger or the smaller cycles, like the universal cycles, the galactic cycles, to see how nature is evolving herself and so that we evolve with her. So deep listening to nature has always been part of our ancient civilizations that were really advanced. All the solar calendars, galactic calendars, all of those were really important because we never want to miss an opportunity to rise when nature rises. We never want to miss the opportunity to plant the seeds of consciousness when the time is right. Now, time, of course, is a big subject that is part of this ascension process. Here in this world, we create a time that seems to be going from the past into the future. But time within cosmos is again a spiral of evolution. It is spiraling out. When I see, for example, the center of our universe, I see something that, we might refer to as central universe, from which there is a spiral spiraling out. At the core of the spiral, you would find the gods, and we call them gods, that you would associate with the Hindu tradition. So, like Shakti and Shiva and Vishnu and all of those guys. But as the spiral comes from the central universe, when it spirals out, it creates kind of reflections of these gods in different forms. And then you would see the next arm of the spiral coming out. And you would see the gods that we associate with ancient Egypt and Atlantis, like Isis, Osiris, Ptah, Thoth. And then you again spiral out. And then you spiral out, and you will see another reflection of these God energies. And all of these are energies of nature that take on forms that we then name whatever names we give them here in this world. And so it just keeps spiraling. So all exists all at once. The past is not gone. It is written within this spiral and it's existing right now. And that's why when people, for example, learn how to travel through time and space, maybe out of body, then they are able to simply visit parallel realities that exist right now. So that's one of the things that will also change, of course, through this ascension process is our misunderstanding of time. As a matter of fact, when I was in Ohio in May, so not in December, but in May last year, I was walking the labyrinth, and I always use the labyrinth as a spiritual tool for asking and receiving answers, actually. And to me, May in Ohio was like being in some portal of information that was nonstop delivering guidance, information, missions. It was pretty remarkable. Some places like this, of course, exist on this planet where the veil is so thin. And so again, this was close to the Serpent Mound in Ohio on the east coast of the US. So I had a question. I was meditating. We went there to meditate quite a bit, and I was meditating kind of while walking. And my question was, so what's next? Like, why are we still here? What's up with this world? I know we came here on a big mission, but then it was the voice of the Father speaking and said, we, you and me, are here to actually repair the wrinkle in time. Now, I had no idea what that's about, but I wrote it down in my journal and I thought, okay, we'll receive more information about it. And if you follow Matthias de Stefano, he received the same information during our event just really a month ago on the 2nd of February in Sedona. So, we always want a little bit of validation here. But the thing is that I received, the image of what is happening around the earth and why the time and the perception of time is actually so important to repair so that we can be aligned with cosmic time. And so, again, in this world, when we look at time, we measure it strangely, we measure it unnaturally, and then we kind of split it into these unnatural units as well. This is something that we must deeply examine, truly deeply, with our divine self. Examine the effect of artificial time on our psyche, on our consciousness. You might think it's not a big deal. What's the big deal? This is how we measure time. This is the calendar we have. But actually, it has a massive effect and influence on our consciousness. So it's good to go deep into how we measure time and how we all actually even might collectively believe that the time that we have right now and the measuring of the time is totally practical and real. It actually keeps us partially in illusion. And we had the wonderful world leader in consciousness, Jose Arguelles, who, I don't really know much about him, but from what I've seen, he was always, I think he was like the father of harmonic convergence events here on in this world. And he left the world before December 21st, 2012. But he was often speaking about time and that we need to step away from artificial time. And so, what is the natural time? What is the natural time? In the fabric of this beautiful cosmic creation that we are part of, there is such thing as cosmic time. I wanted to show some nice picture of this beautiful cosmos here, and then we will go deeper into the mystery. It's right here. So, our advanced ancient people, including the wonderful yogis, even in the lineage of Shiva, in the lineage of Babaji, in the lineage of Christ, in the lineage of Yogananda, in the lineage of Krishna, they actually deeply, deeply studied cosmic time. And they didn't do it through some technology, they did it through consciousness. Because they wanted to know what cycles exist within every body within cosmos, meaning in the solar system, in the galaxy, in the universe, in the cosmos itself. Cycles. So that means, once again, we are looking at spirals. And so as all exist all at once within the spiral, so it's important to know when it happens. And it's not something we can do with our watch, with our calendar. It's actually cosmic time, universal time, galactic time, solar time, planetary time. And so, for example, for us, when we look at the solstice and the equinox, that is planetary solar time. It's not something we decide based upon the calendar. It's something that happens within the Earth and the solar system. So this is the type of shift we want to make in our consciousness. And I actually recommend making small changes when you, for example, greet people or write emails to people or text people when they say things like, happy Monday, thanks God it's Friday, to actually start changing our vocabulary. And instead of saying good morning, it's not just a good morning, this is a blissful new day. It's a solar day. And so just changing a little bit, the vocabulary for us, because the way that we measure time again is not at all true cosmic nature. Wonderful. So this is all part of our ascension process, returning to really cosmic consciousness, universal consciousness, galactic consciousness, beyond the beings. We often, when we say galactic, suddenly we think about the Galactic Federation of the Light, but this is so much more about consciousness. So can we be connected to all that is? Can the Earth once again be connected to all that is through her wonderful web of life, her own planetary grid? As all of this happens in this world, it is also happening through us. It is happening through our physical body. Our physical body right now is experiencing such incredible upgrades every single day. And sometimes at night, you just might feel incredible bliss moving through you if the body is open energetically. This bliss truly is coming from our solar logos, and not only through the solar logos, but we often speak about the solar flash. Now, I recorded, I think, at least 4 videos since 2020 about my personal experience with the solar flash. And now and again, I like to go back to these videos. One of them is only 4 minutes, and it's actually the one I would like to show you, where I described, I used to put a little bit of more effort into these videos, so now I don't. But I wanted to really record details of what happened with the solar flash. And I'm just going to quickly find it, and I'll speak about it in just one moment, because it is very important. It's, I hear a lot of people speaking about it in a way that it sounds really fantastic, but without the experience of it, which is wonderful too, because it will be fantastic. Solar light, think about every day, solar light, how it affects our consciousness, how it affects all life on this planet. What would happen if we didn't have solar light? Can solar light change us? Can there be such thing as a solar evolution? And we are in that solar evolution right now. So this video is only 4 minutes, but because I experienced the solar flash through my physical body several times, I know that our transformation will be through solar energy. And it will not be just the energy of our own physical sun, but it actually will be the energy of other suns, and especially the great central sun. And as Patricia speaks about the sun beyond suns in her video today, this is the energy, the plasma. It is truly plasma. It looks like plasma when you see it as it moves through the galaxy. It moves to our solar system, and then it arrives in you and me, but it also arrives in this world. When this energy arrives, it always enters this world through, guess what? The North Pole. It enters this world through the North Pole that just has been aligned. It just has been aligned, the magnetic North Pole, so that when this information enters, it can beautifully enter the tree of life within the earth. We all now have the same ability and access to our own alignment, to our own true north, and so it will enter you and me as well. So when I experienced this myself, it completely rewired my nervous system. It rewired my brain centers. It was not just some imagination. It was actually very, very, very intense. And it took me at least the day to get really used to this intensity of the energy that was running through my being. And so the changes then unfold are the changes in consciousness. And what I have noticed, for example, within my own being, is that you actually delete the illusion that we might have had within us to a very large extent. There will be more to be deleted. But also, it makes us so much more blissful and so much more loving, so much more compassionate, and so much more, I would say, connected to every molecule of life. So the changes are really wonderful. And again, so I'm going to play the video now, only 4 minutes, but this is from actually 2020. My name is Adi, and I am one of many beings who came to planet Earth to support her during an unprecedented transformation. My personal mission is to share vibrational information. When you listen to my voice, a very specific frequency from the source field becomes available to your consciousness. This frequency reconnects us to Divine Mother. As we approach December 21st, 2020, there is a lot of information out there about the solar flash, or what some call the event. I wanted to share with you my personal experience with the solar flash. On September 6th, I was awake in the middle of the night, meditating, chanting Om, and focusing on my third eye, when suddenly I saw a galactic core ejecting a mass of white light, rapidly moving towards the sun. The sun wobbled and added its own solar mass of electromagnetic light particles to the white galactic cloud. Now, both mixed together, this heavy mass of white and golden light hit the earth. I was still awake in a body, so I felt a powerful wave of this light hit the base of my spine and explode through my nervous system, knocking me out of body for a while. I am used to out-of-body experiences, but this one had me convinced I was not returning back. The impact felt like a nuclear explosion. I witnessed my body being completely transformed with the energy, light, and electromagnetism. The energy was running through the brain as well, working specifically on the right hemisphere. Eventually, I was able to return back into my body. My spine was vibrating so much as if a hammer hit a steel rod. My brain was electrified. The entire experience evoked the most intense feeling of bliss. No fear. It took me several hours to adjust to the new energetics. Nothing about this activation with a solar flash felt etheric or non-physical. The impact was as physical as can be. On November 6th, I was again doing out-of-body work, this time in Sedona, Arizona. I looked at the sky, and it was literally filled with solar light, as if the sun had exploded. I knew the feeling of the solar flash from my previous experience, so I lay down on the ground and closed my eyes to let it consume me with a sense of excitement and surrender. The massive impact almost knocked me out again. This time, I was though on the verge of being in a body and out of body. I saw ashes swirling around me. I assumed this time the solar flash burned the physical body, but I did not feel any pain. Bliss beyond human imagination took over me. I was slowly releasing my etheric body into the new earth, a whole new dimension of the earth. My physical spine, especially the bottom part of it, was still pulsing and vibrating as I was struck with such intense mass of solar particles. When I was able to center myself, I was surrounded by my Native American guides, the Hopi people. They have been guiding me since I was a small child. We were now in the fifth world, I assumed. They began to share information with me that was truly remarkable. They told me that nature and our current reality was coded with a binary code. They showed me the current human heart and how it was diminished by reptilian energy that led to the degeneration of a sacred chamber in the heart. Now, as we enter the fifth world, they told me our reality and nature will be coded with a multiple coding pattern instead of binary. The heart will be restored to its original design, and it will be the heart that will directly communicate with the multiple coding of nature and reality. This will be our new guiding mechanism. The Hopi guides demonstrated to me how this new heart will serve as a GPS. It will read the multiple codes of nature and reality, and based on the detected coding, it will make decisions that will always be aligned with harmony of all nature, all life, all of humanity, all the creatures. It was shown how absolutely impeccable and reliable this communication between the new heart and life will be. Humans will be making all their decisions and choices based on their hearts, reading and decoding the new multiple coding of nature. This will lead to an ever-expanding reality of love, harmony, respect, and peace. And so it is. How beautiful is that? I get so excited, you know. I keep just like getting so excited that this is really happening because you guys are here in this world and that we all came here as a team to do this work and to be available for these energies. And so what I could tell, you know, from my own lifetime is that this entire lifetime was preparing us for this moment in which these energies will be flooding the earth through your body, through your heart, restoring the sacred heart that was so diminished, you know. And, you know, normally I would think, oh, it sounds crazy that some reptilians diminished our sacred heart. But in this big multidimensional reality, some strange things have happened. And one of them was just one of them diminishing of the sacred heart, the higher heart, which really is a portal within us all. And so our team here, we always receive some missions that we fulfill. We just returned from Encinitas, from Yoganandas, where we spend a day doing wonderful meditations, activations, a lot of silent meditation, energizing the spine, building some spirals. And we also activated the waters of the Pacific Ocean. And so this is something, if you know Patricia Cota Robles, her wonderful organization of Era and Peace, they have been distributing the sacred waters. They do it all for free, but of course, please donate to them if you ask them to send you the sacred healing water. So I had some sacred healing water with me in Encinitas from the World Congress on Illumination. And then one of our beautiful sisters here on this team, Serena, gave me also water from Venus. And so we did a beautiful activation and then we poured the water into Pacific Ocean. And we were immediately rewarded with the most beautiful, absolutely unbelievable, magical show of our cosmic mother nature. And she just went on and on and on. And we just sat there and watched the most stunning sunset I've ever seen. And I'm not the only one who thought it was the most stunning sunset I've ever seen. She loves to really, you know, she's the mirror. We have to remember the mother is a mirror. When you give her love, she will bless you in multiple ways, multiplied with the most incredible blessings and love and glory back. So she's like right back at you, you know, the mirror. And so this was the mirror that she actually offered to us as an amazing show. The other thing is, I wanted to invite you to join us for this upcoming solstice. Mm, some of the events that I do are very small events, some of them are a little bit bigger. It really depends on the location and what the location will allow, of course. And so this time we have a wonderful location for the summer solstice in Bodega Bay, California. There are many different reasons behind this. I'm just going to quickly tell you why. So June 20th is the solstice. That means the peak of harmonic energy in this planet through the solar system. The solstice is the opening of the illusion of the artificial time. When the wrinkle in time, it actually naturally fixes itself for just a few days, the 3 days around the solstice. It does happen around the solstice. So the opening of energy around the earth. We had many different civilizations on this planet that absolutely knew this, and that's why they built, you know, the different temples and calendars according to this cosmic moment of the solstice. And so we will be gathering in Bodega Bay, California, which is just really few minutes, you know, north of San Francisco. So that's the bay. Minutes, it's not probably true, probably like 45 minutes, but that's still very close. So this will be on the cliffs of Bodega Bay. And the cliffs are rocks, obviously. And what that means, there are so many reasons for this. When I was traveling out of body just the other day, I was shown, for example, how rocks are absorbers of solar light. And not only the solar light, of course, coming from the sun, but the solar light that is stepped down to us from all the other suns. And so they become not only absorbers, but also emanators. And so being in nature, being on the cliffs, overlooking this beautiful Pacific Ocean is just an incredibly heart opening experience. Being with those beings that you are here on these calls in person is like magic. It is even more heart opening than anything else I've ever experienced. And I know for those of you who have participated in our events, you know that it is the community that is just so beautiful and so heart centered, so balanced, so harmonious, so dedicated to this purpose in the most grounded way. I appreciate that so much because the tree of life needs to have roots. If we are in our spiritual self constantly, fairy tales, we don't have the grounding. We want to be grounded. We want to be practical divine beings. And so that's what I really value about our community. Our purpose and our mission for this gathering on the 20th is actually to restore the sacred higher hearts. Nature will be supporting us on this beautiful, beautiful beach. We will go to the beach also. We will be on the cliffs where we have a beautiful location and a beautiful lodge. It's just, I say beautiful all the time, but it is beautiful. And so, if you want to join us, you can really sign up on the website, and we will also provide beautiful, again, here we go, beautiful, organic and vegan and super healthy lunch that we will share together. We will do some qigong. We will activate the Pacific Ocean again. We will do water activation to be of service, of course, to all life. And we will do a lot of wonderful meditations. Everything is about transformation and service. So that is basically the combination of the two. And also, if you want to stay at the lodge, we were able to negotiate just a little discount, and I will be putting it in an email today. And so you can stay the 2 nights or even more to turn it into beautiful vacation, because it's just such an incredible place to be. And it will be, arrival June 19th, and then June 20th, we will be together all day until 6 p.m. And so for those of you who come, I would recommend that you stay those 2 nights. But also the Bodega Bay has a beach, and the beach has camping. So if the lodge is too expensive, you can easily just camp a few minutes away from the location and enjoy some camping experience too. And that is like $35 a night. So again, it's super, super affordable for everyone. For me, these events are not money-making events. They are actually events, where obviously I have to pay for these locations and pay for the food and so on and so on. But it's about bringing people together to be of service individually to every single one of us, but also to the collective of humanity, on behalf of everyone, but also to Mother Earth, our Maravati, and to this ascension process. And so here we are. We will repeat tomorrow. And tomorrow we will do some work with the wonderful invocation that Patricia Kota Robles now posted in the video about our purpose of being. We will be, I just never know what's going to happen tonight. So if I tell you that we're going to do it tomorrow, who knows, A lot of the things happen at night, and so we receive new guidance. But tomorrow we have a call at 11 a.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Pacific. And again, please check the time zones, because we had the clocks went forward here in the US. And so just so that you know what time zone. And so I'm going to post the recording of the call before and this one as well, because we kind of discussed two different things, but all about the ascension process. And so it's going to be just today and tomorrow. And then we take a little break because some of us are going to Sedona. And so we're going to do some magic in Sedona. And then when we back, we will again be sharing some updates and guidance. So thank you so much for all that you are, how wonderfully you contribute to this ascension process, and that you are the open cup. So thank you so much and many blessings.